I'm here with Dr. Igor Kaplansky from Buffalo, and I'm here with Colleen, our key administrator for Teeth Tomorrow, up in Woodstock, New York. We have a New York City background to represent one of my other homes. And I just wanted to really just share with you, with everybody that's part of Teeth Tomorrow and the franchise and others. First of all, I really feel like you represent me and my organization, our organization, very well. You've taken
Thank
off.
you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at building a surgical center. Is that on the docket for you?
We already did actually. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah, we just completed. Just had an open house and ribbon cutting and the whole 9 yards.
we got to
Got
promote
a
that, Igor. What's
nice,
that about?
nice. Yeah, got a nice little certificate from a local congressman
Very nice.
for investing into a business. So yeah, no, it's working out great.
And
Enjoy the new space. It turned out really well.
and it
Now we
seems
can
like
fit the anesthesiologist and all the assistants and everybody.
Teeth Tomorrow was instrumental in kind of precipitating that happening.
Oh, definitely. It totally would not have happened. Tomorrow was a catalyst to make the whole thing.
I'm losing your audio a little bit. I don't know why I'm losing your audio periodically.
You guys are clear on my end.
Okay. So that's exciting. That's really exciting, and I'm honored to hear that. It means a lot to us, and that's kind of what I did. I had my facility in Woodstock. When I started, that was part of building this whole. That was a big part of it. So I tell you, more and more, Igor, I realize how full arch is just so intense. It's a very intense proposition we take on as dentists. And what I respect about you is I know you take that very seriously. You're following a lot of the protocols that I've recommended. Anesthesiologist is a big one. I mean, if you can do that, that makes it safer, better treatment, PRF, just a lot of the things that I've recommended you're doing. Do you mind just sharing your mindset on full arch? I mean, this is a lot different than doing a crown or just quadrant implant dentistry. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah. It's a different ballgame. It's a big production. And you have to have all your ducks in a row. But when you venture into something that intense and that big, you have to make sure that you use predictable, proven protocols and predictable techniques. You can't experiment with people when they're paying that much money for a procedure, and you can't afford to have that go bad. Because then we're talking there is no profit anymore. Right? If you start redoing things, so definitely I took your message to heart. We went to Woodstock, we got trained, and I follow it precisely. It works out like magic in my hands, and if I ever have questions, I know where to go. And
in the lab and myself, we're always there for franchisees. And it's not just about profitability. I also feel it's about safety, and this is a major, major undertaking.
Oh, definitely. No, absolutely. Patient safety is a paramount. But Sergio has been there for me. I've spoken with him many times, and very, very helpful.
Well, we've done, the lab's done 5,000 arches, so we have a little bit of experience on this. And what's good about that is a lot of those doctors are not following our exact protocols of splinting the impression copings with an open tray, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So we know how to get people out of these situations. So the lab is a big resource. There's a lot of resources. I really feel that there's a lot of strength in, people often ask me, what do they get with the Teeth Tomorrow brand? They're getting clinical advice, obviously. They're getting protocols. They're getting the marketing. They're getting a brand that's exclusive. And I know you've seen the benefits of that there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When people come for consultation for initial exams and stuff, a lot of times they already know that they're going to get a quality product.
Well, you have the book to give them, which explains everything. That's makes
right. The book, yes, the book works really, really well with older people. Honestly, they enjoy reading. They enjoy having something in their hands. And they perceive it as a valuable thing when you hand it to them. So that works really well. Yeah, no, everything works well. It's
You know,
just a packaged program. That's honestly that's what I was looking for. Like when we got into this, we were doing some full arch cases, but there was no structure. So what I was looking for is something that would give us this nice framework that we could build upon, and I found exactly that with Youth Tomorrow.
thank you. And that's what I wanted to provide. We wanted to provide is a framework, clinically, marketing, every aspect of the staff training, support. And that's what Teeth Tomorrow does offer. When you start to look at what, with these baby boomers, they often talk about the 75 million baby boomers, 10,000 turning 75 every day. And, they're looking for alternatives. They're seeing the ads on TV. They're seeing Gulpa. They're seeing these other, done in a second. I just really believe here we are almost 7 years in with these protocols of delivering that provisional the next day.
Right.
And the way I see it is that you're not tying up the chair time. You're not making this. Some people tell me the patient comes at 8 o'clock. They're not leaving until 2 in the afternoon or later because they're chair side, tying up the chair, making a provisional that can't be as good as a lab. Plus the timing.
Yeah, anything that's made chair side in the mouth with all the blood and stuff. Not only not as hygienic, but it's not as strong, and that's when not as polished. So then the thing starts to break, teeth fall out of it, implants get loose. It's just not a happy thing, right?
And the timing. You can predictably say your surgery is going to be an hour and a half for an arch. It's going to take a half an hour, 40 minutes to take the impression. Out the door, patient safely home. The next day you pop it in. Talk about that next day delivery of that provisional. I mean, it's really amazing.
Because we use the oversized healing abutments, just like as
another little tip
protocol, right? So what happens is the tissue is already somewhat formed around the healing abutment. It doesn't fall into that channel that connects the prosthetic parts to the implant, so the tissue stays put when you take them out. And since the connecting parts on the fixed provisional are usually a little bit narrower in diameter, there's no discomfort, there's no bleeding, there's no tissue impingement. It just pops right in. It literally just pops right in. Now, we've done it both ways. We've done it with kind of an analog processed provisional where it was processed like a regular denture, and we also done it with CAD/CAM PMMA type, right? So lately we've been doing a lot more PMMA. They mill it overnight, and that works.
Yeah, there's certain advantages to that make it more expedited. But we're doing these things in 2 arches in 4 visits sometimes when there's not a lot of fussy aesthetic issues. I mean, right. 4 visits. Have you done a guided case for these areoloplasty stack guide cases yet?
I have done in the past before actually we started with Teeth Tomorrow. I haven't done anything since we started with Teeth Tomorrow because I didn't feel there's a need for it.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, if it works, it's kind of cool. That's if it works. That's my problem with that. And plus, there's a lot more upfront cost for that. And the procedure itself now, you're banking everything on a pre-extraction CT. And if things change, a lot can change. I've had a case where the guide was canted, and I caused an iatrogenic, exposure lingually of the implant. And you don't do that when you flap and see what's going on. And I love your cases. You're showing me the reflection, the areoloplasty.
Thank you.
Thinking.
It's pretty simple. People have this fear of going in there and doing stuff without the guide. I think it's a false sense of security with the guide, because you really have to know what you're doing without the guide before you have to do something with the guide, right? But instead, a lot of 3D printing companies and a lot of dental supply people, they're all pushing the guides now because, it's a business thing for them, right?
Yes.
And unfortunately, maybe less dentists with less experience, they feel like it's the key to success, right? That's what's going to allow them to do these full arch cases with their limited experience. Well, instead, they should really educate themselves, invest into maybe some hands-on classes or do more implants, right? And learn how to do it guideless. And
You're really accurate here.
Yeah.
And we're talking about FP3s. We're not talking about tooth-borne guides. When you have stack guides.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
When we talk, when we talk about single implants, two implants, quadrant of implants, I mean, there may be some value to doing guides, and there may be some value to doing flapless. People do all kinds of things, and everything works to the extent.
Yes.
But I'm still old school. I like to flap it. I like to see where the bone is. I don't where the bone.
Yeah, talk to me about alveoloplasty because I believe that's the key to our success is enough prosthetic height, hiding the junction. Are you using the axis burr I recommend?
Yeah, my technique is and then we all have our own little. Here's what I do. I use a rongeur a lot, right? So initially for bulk reduction, I will just clip it with a rongeur. And then I use a wonderful round burr from Axis to smooth it out and eliminate any sharp edges or anything so that we don't have any soft tissue issues later. But I get this flat platform, which helps later with hygiene and the prosthetic interface. And it also, the alveoloplasty is super important, as we all know, for hiding the transition line. Yeah.
Yeah, I go to 12 millimeters, and I also realized recently, I mean, that we're on better bone when we do alveoloplasty, and that's one of the reasons once you graft, you're not going to get changes in tissue, which leads to implant success. These are
Absolutely.
good fundamental principles.
Yeah, basal bone is harder, it's more dense, and it's not subject to more resorption later as thinner alveolar bone. Definitely.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that people that do use guides say, oh, it tells me exactly how much bone to reduce, and it's all if you go to 12 millimeters, leave 12 millimeters of the faucet, you can almost never go wrong. Halfway
Right.
down the
No,
side on the mandible.
really, yeah. How difficult is it to put a perio probe on it? Never.
Exactly.
and I've seen people use pencils. They sterilize a pencil. You just draw a little pencil line. I mean, if you need that, like I don't need it, you don't need it. But if somebody needs to visualize the line where they need to reduce to, you could make a pre-surgical clear acrylic template. I mean, you could do all these things. It doesn't really need a full-blown 3D printed digital thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's we're on the same page
But,
here.
as far as splinting the impression transfers together, I just have a little tip. I know
Yeah.
we all like to share tips. So yes, tying it with the floss is time consuming, and I've seen people use orthodontic chain elastic to do that, right? Which is nice. We do ortho too in my practice. I have all kinds of ortho. What we use actually is class 2 elastic, and that works super. There's no pull on them because they're so light, and I would put it on one transfer, then crisscross it and put it on the other one, and then just connect two and two, and elastics crisscross like this, so that helps retain the resin when you connect them together. Yep, very quick, and works better than in my opinion, works better than floss or the chain.
That's what concerned me about the ortho bands. Maybe it was too tight and pulling pressure.
That's exactly it. And the class 2 elastic is so light, it's 2 ounce, even if you, yeah.
The other thing that some clinicians are doing is they're using the snap caps from BioHorizons that really lock in. They're splinting those and doing a closed tray impression. So we're looking at that too.
Okay.
With rigid impergum.
Have you had experience with that?
I haven't, but I don't want to name the clinician yet, but I have a friend of mine who's part of Teeth Tomorrow that's working on this, and we're looking at some of these cases.
No, I mean, if that works, I'm open to suggestions. But we found sort of historically that, well, first of all, we do section. After I connect them with the resin, I section them and then
Really
remove them
following
from
the
here
rules. Good. Yes.
because it relieves any stresses that might be built in there.
Absolutely.
So we do that, and then if you lock them together with impergum, there's no movement. So the model
Heavy body impergum for sure.
100%, yeah. Like you know how we all do the PM jig, and we do sure that there's no seating fully, right?
Yes.
Like honestly, I've never had an issue with that thing
Sheffield,
not seating. Yeah, when we take impressions that way,
you haven't
they're solid. They're right on. Well,
that's why Claudia Patch and I have been recommending this for the last 5 years because it works. Where are you at with multi-unit abutments, if you don't mind? I'm going to know where you're at.
I subscribe to your teaching and your theory, and I.
You're so flattering.
Yep.
It makes sense, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes complete sense on multiple levels. The one of the bigger ones is the screw. It's so tiny. I mean, it's you risk you put so much into building the whole construction, the whole design, and then the connecting piece is a little tiny. I don't know what 2 millimeter in diameter screw. I mean, yeah, that is going to be the weak link. That's in my opinion is the weak. But no, we do take indexed or what they call engaging in the anterior, right?
Yep.
Not engaging in the back. And then the lab, if they feel like the screw hole is coming out through the facial, then they can redirect it with multi-unit. But maybe occasionally it turns into 1 or 2 per case at the most. But the rest we go right to the implant, and that's great.
I'll tell you, if you use 2 multi-units, it's a lot cheaper than using a guide.
Oh yeah, yeah,
A lot more fun too. And we don't deliver. I don't like to deliver. Now, if you're doing the mill provisional, you can deliver the multi-units at the time of the provisional if your lab's set up for it. Otherwise, deliver the provisional, cover it with composite when you do the verification.
Provisional, it's a non-issue because you can always composite it, and even if it's coming out on the facial, it's not a problem. In the final, yeah, we probably wouldn't want that to be that way, so then we redirect it.
Right. Why are there so many misconceptions out there about this? I mean, I'm on Facebook. I just see people doing these things that don't multi-units. Sorry,
Right.
guides.
Right.
You know, I just don't get it.
Well,
Chair side conversions.
here's two of my theories. So one of them is as we all know, when people are not sure what to do, they do what other people do, right? Right? We all know that. That's what happens, right? So that's just human psychology. So when they look around on the internet or on the lecture circuit or anywhere, and they see other clinicians do that, they assume automatically this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
So everyone does. And I think not the least component of it is the cost that the implant companies obviously sell more parts now.
Fortunately, that's the truth.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you easily double the cost of the components if you add implants and multi-units.
You know, a lot of it really comes back to the surgery when you put the 5 millimeter healing caps on, so you could index better, and you suture below that. That tissue is going to shrink. I only see maybe 2 millimeters from the platform to the free gingival margin on these cases. I don't need a multi-unit to bring it up higher.
No,
I'm
no.
not using prosthetic space.
You're absolutely right. That's another point that they say. Well, the implant platform is so deep subgingival, you need the multi-unit because they even use straight multi-units. That makes absolutely sense. No sense whatsoever.
You're thinning your prosthesis when you do that.
Right. Yeah. You just created a whole bunch of multi-gaps again where bacteria can hide. What's the point, right? And you're relying on a little tiny screw again. So, no, definitely in my book, no straight multi-units and angled multi-units only if absolutely needed for aesthetics.
I'd rather have a house built on a foundation than stilts, if I had a choice.
Totally.
Unless there was an ocean coming under it. It's just more stable.
No, but yeah, if the tissue is managed correctly and you have nice attached gingiva around the implant,
Part of the surgical protocol.
Yep. Then it helps with hygiene. It helps with the longevity of the whole design, and you don't need to bring it up to the platform.
Absolutely. We've covered all the good surgical points. Kyle, anything you want to share from an administrative standpoint of how you support everybody and how we're looking to grow? We certainly want to grow, and we anybody that wants to share this with anybody, and it's been so successful for so many years, and we want to be more national. And that's
I think we're poised to for much bigger growth. We have a solid, proven technique that has been researched, that's been published, and the final product is just really love it. I really enjoy looking at. When we get that final zirconia,
beautiful, right?
It's not just beautiful; it's solid. You can feel how strong it is, and even during the consultation, when you hand that to the patient, and we let them feel it. We take it off the model, and I just give it to them, and then I give them PMMA, and I say, well, PMMA is pretty much the final at the other practice. This is what our dentist would give you, basically. It's an acrylic, right, product. And then you feel the difference with solid zirconia, and they can sell the difference.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like your overall gross revenue has increased since becoming a Teeth Tomorrow provider?
Oh, definitely. I mean, these were the cases that we would either not do, or we would maybe just do, some of them. Now we are doing most of what comes in, most of the full arch cases in that way. And because I'm confident that I can deliver a result that the patient is going to be happy with, and I'm going to be happy with. Where before, yeah, we did see some failures. The acrylic, the teeth would pop out, or the thing would chip or break, and it's a non-issue anymore. But I'll tell you what was the most probably effective in growing the Teeth Tomorrow and the implant part of the practice in general is the introduction of a implant coordinator in my practice. So
Absolutely.
we created the position, right? We never had it before. And that single focus, that intense focus on that specific part of dentistry has helped us grow tremendously. And I don't know, we probably wouldn't have done as much implant dentistry without the implant.
Absolutely, and that's what my hope is to give you the focus. That's why we train the whole staff, and that's
Right.
why we help you with all aspects of this. It's not just one thing.
No.
I grew this from doing full arch of FP1, bar overdentures, acrylic hybrids. I can tell you right now, when I recommended to a patient about acrylic hybrids, my staff and I never felt as confident about it to the patient. They feel that. They just do, and that's why we're selling more cases.
But no, I mean, when we came, the whole office came to Woodstock for training. This was that boost. That was the shot in the arm that of the practice where everybody got on board. Everyone was super enthused and excited about the procedure and the final product. And since then, we just kept going. We never stopped, and then just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. We were a 6 operatory office. Now we have 12.
Wow.
And 2 of them are dedicated surgical surgeons.
That's a real testimonial to everything. I can't thank you enough. It makes us feel really good because this is what our intentions are.
Absolutely.
And, oh God, Teeth Tomorrow Buffalo.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you've done and your leadership, Mike.
Thanks.
Continue and grow and prosper.
Absolutely, to be continued. Really appreciate it. Happy holidays, and we'll talk.
Thank you. You too.